Hello, welcome everyone. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamer Session 45. We're sharing actionable insights, dropping knowledge from our day-to-day user acquisition, game design, and ad monetization jobs. Discussing latest industry news from time to time while having so much fun. But let's not forget, this is still 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe. Let's not take it too seriously. Today we have Jakub Remiar, Felix Braberg, and myself, Matej Lančarič. Full house. So I think this is the last session of this fucking year.
It should be.
Should be, right?
And what a year it was.
What a year.
Yeah.
Very true. You can elaborate on that if you want. But
what? A lot of things changed, let's say.
Yeah, that's true. But the Christmas decoration you have, it's still the same from the last year.
Yeah, of
Pretty
course.
much.
By the way, when did we start with this whole thing? Like last year, January?
I was checking it. It was this year in like mid-January. So we still have 2 weeks left.
Anniversary podcast.
Yeah.
Anniversary podcast. Yeah,
Is there any way you can take the first episode and burn it? It's so bad.
No, I will. No, yeah, it was so bad, but it's not on YouTube yet. So on our anniversary, I will just publish it. So for the fun's sake, and then
humiliation anniversary.
Yeah,
of course,
quite far, right?
No. But then we can publish the anniversary episode right after to actually compare how bad we were and how bad we are at the moment.
Great, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was also, by the way, thinking inviting Nico again to do like a roundup of crypto stuff that we did a prediction last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, Nico. Yeah, please come on the pod again.
We can definitely do that. And I have some interesting ideas for another episode that we already talked about regarding Turkey or Turkey or.
Turkey. Yep.
Turkey. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's gonna be one of the episodes next year. But what should we talk about today? Predictions. Ooh. I guess
not much stuff happening, but predictions are always happening at the end of the year, so why not?
Yeah, but please don't give crappy predictions.
Matej, are you actually going to give serious predictions? Are you going to take this seriously?
No, maybe most probably no. So I can mention some of the ironic predictions I already wrote about at the beginning of this month, and I already see some articles from different let's say MMPs and different brands that are already discussing these predictions.
So not real predictions got published and then now predictions.
Yeah, that's true as well. But then, like at the same time, the same website or newsletter that these predictions were published, they are actually making predictions very similar to what I mentioned in that ironic piece. So yeah, well, I think we will be seeing some predictions early next year as well, which is going to be still a lot of crap, I think. But what can we do?
Yeah. So I have 3 predictions. One of them is a bit like, and the other 2 are a bit better. But here we go. So first one is titled Meta's Slow Slide. So my prediction here is Meta is going to get only worse and worse on the ad monetization side. Like I've been thinking about this situation, and there's no way this has a happy ending for them. So if you think about it, everyone knows they lost half their market with ATT, and they announced also they're not going to be targeting LAT users. So they're giving up and not even going to be trying on LAT. So knowing how big like public companies work, I bet you that this conversation has either happened or will happen inside of Meta, and it will go along the lines of, "Hey gang, we need a few more signals. So I think we should partner with OEMs to find data," which is going to take 1 million years. And then they're going to go like, "Oh, gang, let's cut half of Meta's audience network staff," which happened. And then there will be a VP that will sit down somewhere in San Francisco in a boardroom, and his higher ups will go like, "Hey man, I see that your division is not as profitable as it was before." And the VP will say, "Oh, that's because of ATT." And then the higher ups will say, "I don't care. you need to come up with the same amount of profit. And then the VP will go like, okay, I'll cut the publisher's margin down on Android. And then sometime this year, we're going to see Meta's performance on Android drop. Us Admon people will complain and they'll blame it on algorithms. And then suddenly Meta will drop out of the top 3 networks on Android too.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Like, sounds like the usual corporate thing.
They did fire a lot of the staff as well, like a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah.
Sure, but they hired like crazy before or during COVID. So it's still
that's the important comparison.
There's one,
here, like...
I think there's one Meta Audience Network staff, like AM, left in Ireland, like to service all of Europe.
Well, okay, still. They hired like 1,700 people like during COVID and fired like 1,100 or 1,500, whatever. But still less than they hired.
Yeah,
before.
like there's still more than pre-COVID.
Yeah, so it's like that's the thing like nobody's talking about actually. Oh wow, so many layoffs. But then of course, if you hired like crazy during COVID, then you need to mention that as well.
Yeah.
And does this even have some kind of like remedy, this whole kind of ATT situation for them? Like, is there any light at the end of the tunnel, or it will just get worse and worse?
I mean, as it is right now, no, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, they could partner with the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, and actually just get data from devices directly. But I'm not sure how that would work. Plus, like Meta going to Feta. Meta. Oh, that was a good one. Meta and Feta doing a partnership. No, so Meta partnering with like Huawei or with Xiaomi, like that's going to take a million years to set up as well. So like, I don't see any light coming into the tunnel for that. But, with this whole side loading thing, that could maybe be a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's see.
How could that help like ad monetization, the side loading?
Right.
Side loading, fuck.
No, it won't really. Like, if you think about it, but that kind of goes in on my second prediction. So my second prediction is the iOS renaissance. So with Apple saying they're going to be allowing side loading, you can expect an absolute silly season and an iOS renaissance. So the largest gaming companies will start running UA on their games to mobile web for downloads, so that you can download the games there with like their own payment rails. Companies will do this and give massive discounts for either you to download games or like download games that you already are playing from the web. And suddenly the App Store tax goes from 30% to 1.5% ish.
Any decimals in there?
5.5 is the normal rate that you start using. No, I have no idea.
Wait a second. Like, do we know this will happen? Isn't this like going from 30 to 27%, like with those dating apps in Holland?
Yeah. So the big caveat is like Apple's only said they're going to be doing this in the EU to get the regulators there off their back. But what they haven't announced yet is if they will be doing any tax around it. So it's basically an info leak that is leaked. They're going to be doing this, but they haven't announced it and on what terms. So Apple being Apple, they could also be like, hey, you can sideload, but you still need to pay us 15% or something
27.
Like that.
27 for sure.
Yeah, 27.
27.
Yeah. You don't know, but like the thing is like it's because they have regulators on their back, right? And if they do that and say still 27, that doesn't really change anything. So I have a feeling it's not going to be as high of a tax that you think, and that's kind of my prediction here. But like what this also, if you think about it, what this also will result in is I think that this will also mean in the EU on iOS will start having a rise of carrier app stores. So if you can sideload apps, you can also sideload app stores, right? So mobile carriers in the EU are always looking for a way to differentiate their product from competitors. Their product is pretty much like a utility, right? It's water or electricity. And what better way of differentiating than allowing your customers access to your own app store with your own apps and own games? We'll see exactly what happened with Huawei's app gallery. There will be a lot of money sloshing around for deals to get developers on the different app stores. I can even see like how this would let Fortnite come back on iOS, and all sounds super exciting, but exactly what you said, Remo. It all depends if Apple will allow sideloading like tax-free or not.
Man,
so the question is like, will
that's
it
not
be
gonna happen?
Free?
You don't think?
Dude.
Yeah, I think.
First of all, yeah, it's not going to be free. Second of all, you think there are going to be carrier app stores on
Vodafone
iOS?
App Store, yeah. Vodafone App Store.
Dude,
And what would that
Good
help
luck.
them with?
good luck with that.
Differentiation, like giving more to their customers and basically allowing people to basically play your favorite games. And then also they can get exclusivity with a couple of game makers. So basically they're only on those app stores. And so basically when you get a contract, you can either give people gems or anything like that. It's gonna trust me.
So you're saying that Clash of Clans goes to Vodafone App Store.
Not the
So in order
biggest
to
ones,
play
like
Clash
not the
of
biggest,
Clans,
the biggest,
you
the
need
biggest
to
ones.
install
No, the
Vodafone.
biggest ones won't do this. No, the biggest ones won't do this. But like the mid-tier ones, they'll take a money handout.
You can see he's in the corner because he said already basically like 4 times in 2 sentences. So he's fucked. So he's fucked. So at least it's a prediction. Okay, it's a prediction.
It's a nice, let's say,
wishful thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think is going to happen then?
But like what you just mentioned at the beginning, with these like bigger companies running the web campaigns, that's already happening. You see Hero Wars running the web campaigns on the web browser and even on mobile phones. And you can, I think, the bigger companies like Scopely and Idle Heroes is running these type of campaigns as well. So it's already happening on the web as well.
To download games or to make payments?
Just play games on web browser. And you have the client from mobile. Just
even Supercell is doing that.
Even Supercell is doing it. Yeah.
Oh, they have web store. To be honest, like the theory makes sense here with
on paper.
No. I mean, Felix theory with it won't be free. Of course, it won't be free. But like some kind of let's say, we want to appeal to, or let's say, be attractive to the regulators. So we really won't go for 27%. So you can enjoy your 4% custom payment gate, Stripe, whatever you have. So it will be still more. So maybe 20, maybe 22, maybe 20 something. And but I wouldn't go under 15.
You actually think it's going to be that high? If you think about it,
course.
Like credit card fees are like 2-3%.
Apple
right?
ransom money.
Yeah. Of course.
It's like, you know these old movies like Godfather, like one of my favorite ones. You know what happens when you like leave one store free, so we don't pay ransom? All the other stores don't want to pay the ransom again, so they won't tolerate this. Like no, never ever.
Never ever.
Well, never ever. Well, we'll find out in 2023.
Yeah, I can tell you already.
Yeah.
My third and final prediction before hearing your guys' predictions is titled "The Amazonian Warrior Queen."
Ooh.
So my prediction here is that Amazon will take the top 3 spot on mobile ad monetization in terms of overall impressions served. So this year is the first time I worked with Amazon Publisher Services, and despite it being in a beta, it's still super strong and super good. So right now, it's also the biggest tease in Admon. You get them live on a title, and boom, on banners, it always shoots up to third or fourth largest network with that sweet e-commerce demand, and it's really good. Then you ask them like, hey, this is looking really good. Can I go live like on another publisher? And they go like, thank you for asking. Of course you can't. No. But once they stop being such a tease, it'll be one of those networks that's you must have. And it's just going to be a force to be reckoned with in mobile as well. And I would have said that Pangle was going to be the biggest hit in 2023, but they've pushed back their EU and USA launch date on ad monetization like so many times that I've lost count. And rumor on the Admon street is that they're supposed to launch this summer in the EU and in America by Q4 next year. But maybe the EU will happen. But I don't think the US is going to happen because there was some 3 or 4 Congress people that are trying to ban TikTok in the US just last week. And
you mean like Trump?
Yeah, like pretty much exactly the same, and that will spook Pangle for sure, and they will push back the launch on that. So don't think we're going to hear much.
FYI, it was already passed, if I understand correctly, that TikTok cannot be allowed on government agencies' devices. If I get it right, in US.
Just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yes, but if it's like this thing is already in, how many steps it will take until the whole thing gets banned? Where you consider it a threat on your government devices, why don't you consider it a threat in general population? So China also has the same rules, like Windows cannot be on government agencies, and like all these other kind of Western tech software cannot be there.
Amazing. Amazing.
My guess is like this kind of like regulation war will just get worse. Not regulation war, like let's say China and encroachment into the US digital infrastructure system. It will get worse and worse, because think also the other way around, which is like we at gaming can suffer it, is that no US company can go into China and buy another Chinese company, but Chinese companies can come into US and buy US companies, which is still in place, and I don't think so it will last that long anymore.
Really? Why do you think so?
Because it's like unsustainable, especially with all of these other measures that people are kind of pissed in the US at the Communist Party being able to kind of go into any other device system technology they want and get all the data they want. And even though they don't say, but it is basically what's happening, and they will be countermeasures. That's my guess, especially with the heightened tensions within the South China Sea now and like Taiwan and everything.
Sounds like prediction.
Yeah, it's a prediction. Like
South
the situation
affecting mobile ad monetizations, Pangle US rollout.
If anything happens there, where there's like 90% of microchips being made on Taiwan, like it will affect like everything from my Christmas tree to everything.
Okay, guys, let's bring this back to mobile and not geopolitics.
Oh yeah, sure.
I want to hear you guys' predictions.
No, just I want to talk about the Amazon here as well. I think it's going to be interesting a UA channel as well at some point in the future. I'm not sure if next year already, but I ran these campaigns back in days, and they were pretty profitable. And even though it was kind of like low scale, a couple of hundreds of thousands USD I could spend on a monthly basis. So it's not that low scale, but still could be more, of course. So let's see what happens.
When was that you were running those campaigns?
Back a few years ago.
Okay, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazon buys Unity. Bam. There you go.
No way.
Why not?
Why not AppLovin?
Yeah.
AppLovin's. By the way, AppLovin is super small now based on the market capitalization.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 billion.
Yeah, it was 40 before.
Yeah, no, it was 2018. I think it was the max or something.
Anyway. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Amazon already bought CryEngine and created that Lumberyard thing that they had there, whatever. And they still want to compete and get into gaming kind of real, which still kind of fails. So this could be a good thing now where everything's kind of on fire sale. Why not buy Unity? Where Unity, you have both the ad network and the engine.
Okay, but then Unity just merging with Iron Source.
So there you have the ad network and the game engine all together in one nice sale.
Well, good luck with that.
You want silly predictions? Here they are.
That's a ballsy.
Nobody said anything about silly predictions. But yeah, okay. Well, let's see if that happens.
Yep.
You can continue with your, of course, VR predictions. I'm pretty sure that you're going to talk about fucking VR.
Feta meta thing. What's happening with VR?
Nothing.
So actually,
nothing is happening.
There's a lot of next big thing for the last 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. Next year is going to happen. Next year is the year of the VR.
Is especially not going to happen. If I get it right, the famous Apple glasses were postponed to 2024, which everybody talks about, and everybody hopes once Apple unveils those, it will be.
Who is everybody? And this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Everybody who cares about VR.
Okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's
definitely
not me.
There's always that one guy at the party. He's like, hey, have you heard about VR?
Yeah, that's usually Remo. Oh, VR is great. It's going to be amazing.
So they're working on it. They're working on it pretty hard. Keep in mind that these are also supposed to be AR, not only VR. So both augmented reality, basic. I think both. Like in the end, it's not really like a question of like if those are two different devices, because in my opinion, like AR being augmented reality is just like VR is 100% of your screen space being covered by the holograms and everything, and AR is just like a lower number percentage of like holograms in your view. So for me, it's the same device. So this was postponed. It's being very, very expected. Everybody's kind of looking into like what they can cook there, pun intended. But we'll see what happens. As usual, because I think there's a lot of also happening with the Apple Car and like all these other innovations. They are throwing a lot of money around, but yeah, we'll see what comes out of this. But still, next year.
The only reason we allow you to throw these jokes is because you became a dad, so you are allowed to do so. This is so fucking lame.
Dad jokes come quickly, don't they?
Yeah,
immediately.
Yeah. So that's what we get for Apple. I don't think so. Like CES in a month will unveil anything spectacular regarding VR. I've seen some new HTC headsets and like other things being unveiled. So probably we'll see something, but nothing like super tangible. Currently, I guess for next year or like 2 years, the Oculus 2 Quest thing will be still like the way to go if you want to show someone VR on like a solid quality. But I guess we won't move from that at any point anywhere. So we'll see. Another interesting news is that Mr. Carmack literally rage quitted Meta. This was a very nice post. For those who don't know, this is the guy that pretty much created Doom and the dawn of 3D graphics with itself. One of the most senior programmers in the whole gaming industry ever, I would say, pretty much a gaming legend. So he was there at the beginning of the whole Oculus rage, where he single-handedly pretty much legitimized Paul Malarkey, the original creator of Oculus, and he kind of supported him there. And then went or pretty much left his company, the ID Software, for his company, which was Oculus then, and then it got bought out by Facebook. So same thing there. He left the company with this kind of very, very flavorish post, which I think was leaked by someone.
Yeah, it was leaked afterwards.
So he posted it anyway, so he can frame it at least in the tone that he wanted, where he pretty much talks about like very, very big inefficiencies, and it was pretty much too much for him to handle to kind of like do anything about it. And if I understand correctly, he started a new startup that's focused on AI.
Of course.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah, but this is like, for me, this is a big blow regarding Meta's VR capabilities. For me, the two most important people, or let's say, two most important people in the whole company regarding VR is Carmack, that's left, and then Michael Abrash, which is the guy that was coming from Valve, which always is like the best guy to listen to regarding his kind of predictions where VR will be, where VR is, and where we still need to go. Again, very, very senior person from the Valve team that was then kind of left for Facebook during the acquisition back in the time, where Valve and Oculus were actually cooperating on the whole device. And then when Facebook bought Oculus, they split, of course.
Where's the prediction?
The prediction? The prediction that nothing will happen with VR next year. That's the
prediction. Whoa, come on. You can do better than that.
That's 100% fact.
The
sun's going to go up tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, well, nothing's going to happen in the next 5 years.
That's a bold
very bold prediction.
I know.
Wow.
It's probably true.
Yeah, I'm not sure
the
if
year
I can
after
handle that.
year after it will come. definitely. There will be new headsets and new devices.
100%. And then the year after, it's not going to happen anyway. And then in 5 years, we'll sit here again like, oh, well, do you remember that?
Instead of being the year of the monkey or whatever, China's going to rename it to VR here.
Yeah, let's continue.
Let's continue to something interesting, actually.
More hyper-casual FTE finally integrated into the core games. I think this will be more and more prevalent this year, especially after the success of, again, another...
What do you mean this year? This year is ending
next
in a few
year,
days.
Next year. Sorry, next year. So from Sunday. I guess more games, or let's say different genres, will adopt this kind of a measure. So I guess we won't see it only with 4X games, which is kind of
4X or match 3 games or RPG games.
No, match 3 is different, but 4X is using it because 4X is very hard to get into because of the whole kind of feature set and everything, and it's in the end what you want to delay as much as possible in order to not lose the user, and because the attention budget and everything kind of ramps up super fast. So my guess is this will be used not only because it kind of helps you ease the funnel, but also kind of lowers the CPI and gives you much more creative possibilities with different genres. I don't think so match 3, because match 3 is kind of too casual for this, but more with
what do you mean? Like they're already
mid-core.
using these type of creatives.
It's creatives, but not funnels. Not funnels.
They're not okay. So it's not in the funnel directly, but they are in the mini game section, whatever that means, and they are still in the in the beginning of the game. Of course it is. Well,
tell me one which uses it.
Play Gardenscapes from the beginning, or Homescapes, or Township.
I don't know. You mean like inserting playables into the game?
Oh, different terminology, dude. It's the same
That's not
thing.
the terminology. Like they have Kingdom Guard has a
I know what you
separate
mean.
tower
Okay.
defense game within itself built in.
Okay, so the tower defense. Okay, so not the hyper casual genre or games or mechanics, but just whole tower defense genre in the.
Pretty much
used as
there will be an easier game before you get to the main harder game. That's the whole thing.
Sure.
So next year it will be much more prevalent.
Okay, and what kind of genres besides the 4X then? Where do you think?
So I'm thinking kind of a main mid-course. So maybe even something like RPGs or like turn-based RPGs, or even something like idle RPGs like AFK Arena or something like that. Could be working there.
If I download a hyper-casual game and it turns into a social casino game, I'm going to be pissed.
Social casino games already jumped this with the different core gameplays. We hold this kind of a dice thing, coin master thing, and everything. It's already hyper-casualizing itself. So social casino is moving a different direction already. But my guess is that this will affect also other genres. Could be also kind of I don't know, basic simulation or something like Farmville or these games that could be doing something like Township or similar games that could be going on to this.
Yeah, Township again. I think they're not using the whole funnel, but they're using different creatives, and then some of the fragments inserted, like you said, call them playables in there directly, and that's in Township in.
But playable is playable. It's not like a completely different game.
Yes, it's not it's not the onboarding funnel, of course. Yes, or the tutorial, which. Eventually, it is in Mighty Party anyway. But okay, so what? Okay, sure. What I'm definitely going to write about early next year is the X Hero, Save the Dog, and Mighty Party, and all these games that are using this hyper casual game Save the Dog in their gameplay and trying to fake everything. So let's see if that is very close to the FTV funnel, like you said.
Yeah, but
Kingdom
that's
Guard
the thing.
or Top War as well.
We move from the fakeness into smoothness, and it will be very smooth. It will be built in. You won't know, and it will be, as Mr. Felix will said here, that he will be playing a hyper casual game that suddenly turns into casino, and he will be happy about it. That's the most
difference.
Thing.
That's the difference. That's the difference. Yeah, because in the Kingdom Guard, it's kind of very smooth.
It's
in Mighty
very
Party,
smooth.
it's what the fuck just happened?
It's duct taped.
Yeah, where are those hyper casual levels suddenly?
So we'll see.
Matej, is it time now for your UA predictions? Or
No,
Let me
done
finish.
yet.
Finish. Marvel Snap clones. I'm really, really looking forward to this. Like, who clones it first? I'm super stoked for this.
I think like at least like 10 studios are already working on it for 100%. I'm pretty sure.
Super interested who clones it first, because the thing is that whoever started cloning it will probably need to change the game completely, because my guess is that Marvel Snap will change its economy heavily, or let's say add a lot of features on top of it in order to keep up with the spend depth or whatever kind of a monetization LTV that they're suffering. And I guess finally they're moving towards the right direction these days. So I guess there will be games that will supercharge the economy and it'll just go full loot boxes or everything with this. Like that's and it could be also like, my prediction is that it could also go the other way around, that a clone will be better than the original, just because it will just go full on free to play with every single trick.
What does it mean? What does it mean better? Better, like more revenue,
higher grossing product.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I mean, but then on the other hand, will it work when it won't have the Marvel IP?
We'll see.
Yeah. At least they get to have ads then,
Maybe they will have the fake ads,
Oh, but they will have ad monetization, right? So
exactly.
But the problem is that the gameplay is kind of niche. That's the problem. So maybe someone will be even able to kind of slap a progression on the gameplay. I would be really curious if somebody is able to do that. I mean, like, being able to upgrade cards and like put a power progression on it somehow.
Pokemon would be a nice IP for this.
Pokemon would be a great IP.
Oh, okay. But then you already saw the new updates or the notes that they posted. Like, there is going to be PvE as well in Marvel Snap. There's going to be,
of course, there will
friends.
be. Hearthstone is super good with PvE.
Yeah, there's going to be friends versus friends in the duels. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, and if you look at the revenue per download curve, like since launch, it's not actually that bad. But it can be
not that bad. It could be worse.
But it can be way better. It can be way better.
Yeah,
it's super steep and it's growing quite nicely, so it's not bad. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm really looking forward once we see a first clone, like a real one.
Yeah, 100%, like Q2 maybe.
Q2, yeah, probably. Yeah. But I don't. To be honest, I don't expect any IPs, like Felix said. Like, I don't think so. Anyone will let their IP be going into like a clone war here.
No,
probably no.
Okay, last thing: Netflix mobile games and retention, and the rise of retention games.
What?
So this is already happening. Why looking at me like this is already happening? It's not like I figured out something. I'm just describing what's happening. So Netflix is hiring from left to right, like top mobile free-to-play developers, forcing them to make games that don't have monetization. This is already happening. So the question is if these games will make it somewhere, because next year will be the year where these games will be hitting, or I wouldn't say they will be hitting soft launch. They will be just hitting the Netflix subscription, whatever they have there. And we'll see what happens with them. My prediction is that Netflix goes to shit and pretty much won't be able to keep up with the pressure from all the competitors and cut their gaming division. That could also happen.
That's a pretty.
Isn't this like a game designer's dream, designing games without monetization and not having to worry about that?
Of course, it's the best dream ever.
Yeah, well, just go to AAA and then there you go. You don't need to think about the monetization.
AAA, man, that's like a different beast these days.
Yeah, of course.
You want to have monetization and on top of the pay to play thing.
Pay to play. Okay.
Yeah, but this will definitely be a resolution next year. They will either do something with it, or like these will work, or they will break. So we'll see. I'm kind of super curious what will happen with all of these games, because there's like super profile people working on these, and I don't see the end of the tunnel. Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It doesn't mean anything.
You can have a football team full of stars, and they will lose a match.
Yeah,
easily. Against like some
like Argentina to Saudi Arabia at the beginning of the tournament,
for example. Yeah, for example. That's actually
that was a great analogy, Remo.
Yeah, great example. Now look, did you even like watch the World Cup?
Of course I did. Just the final.
Okay.
From 80th minute where it actually mattered.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Well, there won't be any UA predictions. No, I don't know.
If I can predict on how to make a feta salad, I'm sure you can make some predictions.
Yeah, of course, 100%. No, I mean, okay, you all know, like I really hate predictions because they're not based on any data points.
Is that why you type them up in a blog post?
Usually in UA. Well, because I wrote that piece as an ironic post that like what kind of prediction we are going to see, and it's already happening. I mean, we are going to see a lot of generative AI in UA. Oh wow, what? No shit, Sherlock. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Of course, I already started using Chat GPT and Midjourney, obviously in ASO. I'm looking forward to see some of the generative AI or like the companies or startups that are starting to work with the AI to actually generate the videos, because that's gonna be a game changer. And
I've seen some generated videos already. They seems pretty good.
Yeah, that's gonna change a lot of things in the creative business. I still don't think like people will lose their jobs because of this, but it's gonna help quite a lot.
They will need to learn, like mostly, if I get it right, like most of the implications I got from all this AI business is people will need to learn hard in order to be able to remain within their jobs, and that's the difference.
Yeah, it's true. And also, like you can use the AI to help you in your job actually. And
I've seen your prediction. Like AI will write economic design for sure, man. Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't say it's gonna write the economic design. I've seen that like these like fun stuff around the internet, like the GDD or like the game design documents, like full of bullshit because it's not ready yet. But and also like these days I'm seeing all these like fun mathematics solutions and then questions which AI obviously gets wrong all the time. But it's already helping me with some like creative let's say brainstorming. It's kind of nice. So
yeah, maybe it will also create like a sustainable Web3 economy. Who knows?
Of course. But what's going to be important for the whole AI business for us UA and creative people is just to learn how to write the prompts. And to
prompts is really everything with this whole thing.
Exactly. So that's everything, and that's going to be very, very important for us to, well, not us, but for everybody to not
to understand jobs, and to, be able to do properly.
To leverage it properly. Because it's super useful, and I see. I think Nadir already mentioned this. Using it for like ASO descriptions, easy. It's not. It's not that ASO people will lose their jobs, but it's going to be important part of the job actually. So you can get a lot of different variations easily in like a couple of minutes. You don't need to sit down with the team.
Keep in mind, like I was tinkering with it a little bit, and keep in mind that one thing is writing prompts, which in the end you also need to add like a negative prompt into it. Like you also need to tell the AI what you don't want to see, not only what you want to see, because that way the results can get 10 times better.
Yeah.
And in the end, whoever is able to write the biggest prompt, like A4 big prompt of things that you want to exclude and things you want to include, those will be the best ones.
So this is exactly like how we write the creative brief. So I know like my team already knows what I want to see sometimes in the creatives, but if I need to write very good creative brief, it should be super detailed. It should describe all I want to see and exactly like you said, what I don't want to see. And if did this, I will give that to Midjourney or Chat GPT. It's gonna export some of the interesting stuff, and I mean that's gonna be part of the workload and the workflow as well, like next year. And that's like, and that's not the prediction, that's just a fact. That's gonna happen.
That's a fact.
And some of the like people is already like, oh wow, this is gonna be very interesting, like generative AI is gonna be a big part of the AI. Well, of course, thank you very much, we already know that. But yeah, okay. moving on. I also discussed that the hypercasual genre is going to die. Prediction, which most probably some of the people will mention again. I talked to actually like 5 different publishers about getting some data around the latest Google interstitials policies that happened. All of those guys, obviously, they didn't want to be mentioned, and they wanted to be anonymous. Said like nothing happened. Obviously, they can't share data, but they also asked different UA networks and SDK networks. They said the same thing. They don't see any decline in terms of spend, anything that actually happened to the big publishers. Obviously, like the small ones and some of like these like speculative companies from China or from any part of the world, they are trying to leverage the the policies and try to double down on it as quickly as they can, just to earn a lot of money and then get banned. Of course, this is going to happen. Sure, those games are going to be fucked. Yes, but the big publishers and the whole industry or the whole genre is not going to die, unfortunately.
By the way, why is every year everyone talking about? Yeah, why is everyone talking that hypercasual will die?
Because the interstitial Google said you had to get rid of the interstitial like pre or whatever. It can't interrupt the game flow.
Intrusive interstitial ads, and a lot of people in the gaming space just said like, oh well, that's gonna destroy the hypercasuals.
Big fat.
You're just gonna build them more properly. That's it. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. But then, okay. So moving on, what else do we have? We have some things like SK Ad Network 4.0 is coming live next year. Nobody knows when. Yes, of course. But
was the supposed impact?
Well, it will give you more data points, but nobody knows if it's going to be really helpful and game changer for the UA because it's still only on paper. So I can't make a prediction like, oh, this is going to be a game changer because just like all of the MMPs are starting to write about it and they're getting ready. We don't have any data yet. So it's like
same situation as with the beginning of ATT.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly. It's
Here's a guide for a feature that hasn't come out yet. Great.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the companies are already like, oh wow, we have the SDK updated, we are ready. And then in fine print it says, well, it's not live yet, and maybe there are going to be some changes in the future, so you need to update the SDK, but we are ready. Amazing. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, so instead of like doing all these predictions, there are also like mobile free to plays that everything like that is gonna happen. Metaverse, all over the place again.
Do you have any Web3 there?
I don't. Only Metaverse. I talked about
Metaverse.
But,
And by the way, this is I think I want to ask a UA person. Is Netflix ads gonna be relevant next year?
What does it mean, Netflix ads?
Like Netflix as an ad network, if it's going to be relevant next year for mobile gaming.
Yeah, I think that's going to be in the section of connected TV, which I want to start running at some point in the future. And it's going to be, I don't know yet if it's going to be a big part of the UA mix, but it's definitely going to be very interesting to start testing as soon as I can.
Because if I understood correctly, I read that they weren't able to really have that much inventory that they promised.
Well, for now.
Yeah, for now.
It's too early. Like these things take so much time to build networks. Like it takes longer than you think.
Yeah. But then like my actual prediction was very similar to what you mentioned, Jakub, around that FTUE integration in the different genres. But also, I think what's going to be interesting in terms of the creatives, and I see that as a trend, and I don't want to call it prediction. I just call it the trend. The thing that Golden Goblins and Rush Royale are doing on the creative side, which is using the actual like assets from the game and using the gameplay, but it's not real gameplay, it's altered gameplay, and using that in the creatives. Rush Royale is using that all the time. They're not even using the real gameplay anymore because that produces better results. And like you can build whatever levels you want, test them out, churn like millions of creatives out, and then test things. So I think like this is going to be very interesting, and we did it as well with Battle Legion back in days. We just built random levels and just stuffed it with different creative concepts that we knew that they worked from the creative testing. So I believe this is going to be a very big trend, and it's going to have very big impact in terms of the UA and creatives next year.
So fake gameplay, real assets.
Yeah, exactly. And there is like, yeah, there is of course, there is a wishful thinking. It's not gonna. Well, I'm not gonna call it a prediction because that would be bullshit. But the wishful thinking that at the end of next year we won't see any sexist ads. But that's only wishful thinking.
It's very wishful thinking.
I know, but at least we started raising the awareness and then start fighting it at least a little bit. First step.
My guess is that something would need to break in order for the whole fake ads thing to get removed. But I guess within current platforms and environment, it's
exactly. So everybody's making money out of it. It sucks, but that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing that would need to break. Yeah. You would not be able to make money out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And like the regulation is nowhere near happening. So yeah. But yeah, okay. I think that's it. Let's close this amazing year
with the prediction bonanza.
With the prediction bonanza. And so I think thank you very much, guys, for listening, for subscribing, for all the support. Thank you, Addictive, as well, for supporting us almost the whole year. And well, guys, please keep subscribing, sharing the podcast with your friends, dogs and cats.
Yeah, we're gonna get cats. Like a very, very packed next year. Definitely have a lot of ideas what to do and what to kind of talk about. So
yeah, it looks like that. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.